Hey, what's up guys? In today's video, I wanted to go over my Week 7 Supreme Arena defenses, but before we do that, I wanted to quickly talk about the Phantomals because now that we have Phase 2 of the season, we can get their levels higher, and what you can do is reset all the levels of your Phantomals, and then you can reinvest the resources into getting your most used Phantomals up to level 80. So I did Graveborn and Wilders, and then I'm working on the Light Bearer one. Now the reason I did the Wilder one is because it's probably the most common one that I use, and I feel like it's one of the better ones because you can utilize the Snow Stomper to counter enemy Lily Mays and things like that, and guarantee that you get an important ultimate off on a team that you're using this with. So the other cool thing about the Snow Stomper's skill is you get the Spirit Marked Hero gets Frostweaver, which says that the Spirit Marked Hero or their summon uses their when they use their normal attack, they also throw a snowball at the enemy, dealing 100% damage. After hitting the enemy 5 times, the enemy takes 200% extra damage and is frozen into a snowman for 3 seconds. And what this skill reminds me of is kind of the Light Bearer talent tree from last season. So heroes like Niru, when they use their normal attack, they hit the entire enemy team. So the Niru is going to be throwing a snowball at everybody when he's doing his normal attacks if he's the Spirit Marked Hero. So you can kind of come up with some pretty cool normal attack teams like we had in last season, and Niru was pretty strong. So I will be incorporating this a little bit in some of my teams, but I haven't really experimented with this too heavily yet, but I did a little bit and it does work pretty well. So let's hop out of here. And like I said, I'm using Graveborn and Wilder and then working on the Light Bearer one. The Light Bearer one is one that it's a hard choice. It's kind of a coin flip for Graveborn or Light Bearer, whichever one you want to do. I would definitely do the Wilders, but yeah, Graveborn and Light Bearer Phantomal are both pretty solid. So depending on what you're running is basically how I would make my decision. Like if you're going to have a Light Bearer team with some Wilder teams, then obviously you want to go with the Light Bearer Phantomal. But if you got Graveborn and Wilder, then I'd go for Graveborn. Simple as that. Anyway, let's hop into these formations, check out the teams, and you guys hopefully can get some of your own team ideas, or maybe just copy them. I'll have the team IDs on the screen for you. But the first team set that we're going to take a look at is actually the teams I was running last week, and these teams actually had quite a bit of success for me, so I figured I'd recommend them again this week because they worked so well last week. So anyway, the first team is a Lily May one-shot team with Shamira and Callan on it, and the cool thing about this team is we get the nice protection from Callan. We also get the burst from Lily May because she's going to have 3 growth stacks, one from Divine Favor, one from Leica, and one from Ravion. And she can usually kill a couple heroes with the initial Rainstorm Ballet when she has this many growth stacks, so it's pretty effective. And then we have Shamira, who can get to an ultimate pretty quickly with this team. I've seen her get to an ultimate within the first 4 seconds of a fight, so knowing that, she's going to follow up pretty quickly behind Lily May's burst damage and get her ultimate out there and nuke down whatever heroes are left on the battlefield. And the reason she gets to an ultimate so quickly is because Leica feeds her energy, and then Divine Favor also gives her an energy boost, so she builds that energy up pretty quick. And she also has a Fatal Blow protection from Ravion, so it works out pretty well. And then I also have her as the Spirit Marked Hero from our Wilder Phantomal. So that's team 1. Team 2 is then going to be a Light Bearer team with Thedor, Shakir, Perseus, Rowan, and Siren. Now if you have the charm set for a Rowan, you can either place him behind Perseus or Shakir. I think it's probably better behind Perseus because it just gives Perseus a little bit more attack and damage and all that kind of good stuff. I forget exactly what his charm set does. It increases melee damage or something along those lines. Where is Rowan? There he is. Let me see quick, because I want to make sure I get it right. So it's increases range defense and melee damage by 20%. So yeah, it increases the range defense by 30. So yeah, it's a really good bonus for Perseus to have. And then he's going to also have the Shakir bonus from the Lupine Aura. Works out quite well. Now if you're going to run this team set, you're probably going to want to have the Light Bearer Phantomal leveled up to level 80, so you can Spirit Mark Siren. And if you don't have him leveled up to 80, it's okay. You don't have to worry about the positioning as much then. But yeah, if you do have a level 80 Light Bearer Phantomal, definitely make sure you position it like this so that Siren can get the Spirit Mark. And that's Team 2. Team 3 is going to be Graveborn team. So we have 3 different Phantomals on this team set, so you're going to have to choose 2 of them to be for the Phantomals to have a Spirit Mark ability. And since the Graveborns are on this map, there's not too many places you can position a Phantomal to actually make it a Spirit Marked hero, so it might be better to have the Light Bearer one as the one that can grant a Spirit Mark. But as this week goes on, you'll probably get the resources to get the Light Bearer Phantomal up there anyway, so who knows, it just needs a little bit more time. Anyway, we have Igor, Athalia, Tassie, Bonnie, and Niru, and this has worked out quite well for me in the past. We're going to give Bonnie Niru's bonus and the extra life, the bonus from the charm set, I should say, and the extra life thing. So this team works out. It's pretty self-explanatory. You guys know this team exists already and is a pretty strong defensive team. Igor, Athalia, Tassie, it works out quite well. And then with the Bonnie dot damage, it's pretty good. So that's the first team set. Let me pull up the next one. So the first team of the next set of teams is going to be a Twins, Thador, Ludovic, Shamira, Damon team. And then we have the Graveborn Phantomal. Now we can't position the Phantomal in a way to make any of our heroes a Spirit Marked hero because the map just doesn't allow that while we're using the Twins in this way. So, you know, it is what it is. But this team should be pretty solid, I feel like. You're going to get a pretty quick Shamira ultimate, and that's going to be pretty devastating. Plus you got Damon in here, who can be really tanky and do quite a bit of damage himself. And then you also have Thador, who does a lot of damage when his Dark Moon comes up on the battlefield, and when the situation's right, he can actually do tons and tons of damage. So yeah, that's the first team. The second team is then going to be a Bonnie Niru Siren team with Callan and Rowan, and the goal here is to have Rowan feed energy to your Siren, getting him to almost an instant ultimate. He'll do an ultimate within like the first 2 seconds, I think it is. It's usually about how long it takes, maybe 3 seconds at the most. And then once the Siren does his ult, they're all going to be grouped in. Niru's going to be doing a bunch of magic damage to him, which is going to help trigger the Bonnie's dot damage, and then once that happens, it's basically going to be game over, and Callan's going to be offering a nice bit of protection, and Rowan with a bit of burst healing. So I like Rowan's burst healing because he just, you know, gives the hero a health potion, and their energy, or in their health bar just goes straight back up. It's really nice. It doesn't, you know, it's not like a healing over time thing. So it works out when you're when somebody tries to use a burst damage team against your like Bonnie Niru Siren team. Rowan can really sometimes save the day. So that's team 2. And then team 3 is going to be our Wilder team with Aaron, Ravion, Perseus, Lily May, and Faramore. So it's basically a Lily May Perseus one-shot team, but we're getting our growth stacks in a little bit of a different way, because normally we would use Leica, but we're going with more of a melee route here, and really the only ranged heroes are Ravion and Lily. So we're going to get a growth stack from Ravion for both Perseus and Lily. Then Perseus is going to get a growth stack from Faramore, and then Lily is going to get a growth stack from Perseus, so that's 2 each, and then they're both going to get a third one from the Divine Favors spell, and that should work out pretty well, giving them each 3 growth stacks, and Faramore, Perseus, and Lily should do quite a bit of damage, and Aaron tornadoing them should help out a lot too. So that's the second team set. Let me pull up the next one. Before we move on to a totally new set of teams, I just wanted to also show you guys this team. So the first team and the second team are the same as the ones I just showed you, but the third team here, I went with a Ravion, Perseus, Lily May, Athalia, Tassie team. So you're still going to have 2 growth stacks for, well, you're going to have 3 growth stacks for Lily and 2 growth stacks for Perseus, and then having Tassie and Athalia in here. If both of those heroes somehow die, you should have some pretty good results with this team, I feel like. Plus, you know, Perseus and Lily both are going to have Fatal Blow protection. It should work out quite well. So if you have Athalia, you could try this team with the other 2 teams that I had just shown. So yeah. Anyway, let's pull up a whole new set, and I'll be right back. So the third set of teams here is actually going to start with a Kulu team. So if you've built Kulu and she's a pretty strong hero in your account, you could maybe try this team set, or at least just this Kulu team. But what we have here is a Thador Shakir team with Aaron and Olmus, and then Kulu. So Aaron's going to, tornado everyone, and Olmus will root them down. Shakir's going to jump over the wall to the enemy team, and then be doing a lot of damage that way. Eventually, my other melee heroes will get through Kulu's wall, but then Kulu is going to be able to hopefully get to an ultimate pretty quickly and blow up most of the enemy team here. So it's Kulu's ultimate can be pretty devastating, and having Shakir and Thador combination with the Aaron and Olmus is already really strong, so it's just a pretty solid Kulu team. Now you can also put a different hero in place of Kulu. Let's see, who else could we put in here that's available? You could put Perseus in here. You could put Satrana in here and do the Thador, Aaron, Olmus, Shakir, Satrana team. You could use Siren, but then you'd have to find a replacement for your second team, because Siren is on team 2. So there's other heroes you could use if you don't have Kulu. But yeah, this is just first team for the third set of teams. And then second team is going to be a Kalin, Shamira, Bonnie, Niru, Siren team. So again, it's just I've recommended this team in other team sets that I've run. It's just a really strong version of the Bonnie, Niru, Siren team. In case your Siren gets burst down by like an enemy Athalia, you still have Shamira in here to do extra damage and all that good stuff. And I have the Shamira getting the extra life from the Niru, so it should be a pretty solid team. And you're going to activate Bonnie's dot damage super quick in this fight. Now you won't really be able to take advantage of Hugin's ability on this map, but it's not that big a deal. You don't really need to design a team around Hugin's skill here, because the enemy could just run a true damage team and totally bypass any of the shields that you get. So it's not always the best to build a team around whatever the gimmick is on map 2. But if you can utilize it, then go for it. Anyway, that's the second team. Team 3 is then going to be a Wilder team with Thorn connected to Ravion. Then I have Lily May, Faramore, and Tassie. And this is going to give our Lily 3 growth stacks, 1 from Ravion, 1 from Faramore, 1 from Divine Favor, giving her the ability to nuke down a couple heroes, hopefully. And then we have Tassie in here to hopefully get an ultimate built up and do what Tassie does. And we also have Faramore with the possibility of being able to blow up some heroes too. So that's the third team for the third set. Now let me pull up the next set, and I think we have either 1 or 2 more. I can't remember exactly, but I'll be right back. So the first team on the fourth set of teams is going to utilize that Niru combination with the Wilder Phantomal that I was talking about at the beginning of the video. And we're going to make the Spirit Marked hero our Niru, who, when he does normal attacks, he hits everybody. And that means he's going to be throwing snowballs at everybody, and this can work out really well, and he can snowman a lot of the enemy heroes. I think this could be really, really good this season. I can't wait to actually test it more. But then we've got the Thador Shakir combination with Aaron and then Lily May. So this should be a pretty strong team. I think it's going to be quite good. And the next team we have is Kalin, Perseus, Rowan, Siren, and Shamira. So we have Rowan feeding energy to Siren, getting him a really quick ultimate. Rowan is boosting up Perseus's melee damage and his range defense with his charm set. And then we have Shamira to get her ultimate out there, and Kalin to protect everyone. And we're using the pack bond spell. Now you guys can kind of change artifacts based on what you think might be better in your situation, and what ones you have leveled up higher than the other ones and all that kind of stuff. The only ones that you definitely want to use are like the ones where I have Divine Favor for the Lily May teams and things like that. You definitely want to use Divine Favor, but the other ones, they're kind of flexible and you can switch them around and do what you want. So anyway, that's team 2. And then team 3 is going to be a Damon, Athalia, Bonnie, Satrana, Igor team. So we have Satrana granting sparks to Bonnie, Igor, and the Phantomal. So hopefully they'll be able to ignite the enemy team with relatively quick. It's not going to be as fast as other heroes that Citrana can grant sparks to. Like if Citrana grants sparks to Theodore and he gets his lieutenant gets an ultimate out right away, Theodore's Dark Moon will ignite everybody on the enemy team in a very short amount of time. But you should still get some decent dot damage out of Citrana in this situation, and the Athalia is going to be boosted up by Damon, so it should be a pretty solid team. So that's the 4th team set. I think we've got one more, and let me just pull that up. Alright, so the first team for this last set of teams that I'm going to recommend is another combination of using Niru with the Phantomal and having Niru being the Spirit Martyro, and then we have Aaron, Olmus, Tassie, and Bonnie in here. So we should be able to activate Bonnie's dot damage pretty quickly, and then on top of that having Niru throwing all those snowballs and everything, it should work out pretty well. And then after all that, if that all fails and we still have some heroes left to kill, we have the possibility of Tassie pulling out a win and soloing whatever heroes are left. So this should be a pretty solid team. I feel like it might be pretty good, especially for free-to-play players. So yeah, that's team 1. Team 2 is then going to be another Wilder team, and we have Theodore, Shakir with Ravion, Lily, and Siren. So we're gonna hopefully get Siren to a pretty quick ultimate. Our Lily is going to have a growth stack from Ravion, and you could use Divine Favor in this situation if you want to. You can also use Blood Moon. I think I might go with Divine Favor because I do want that extra growth stack for Lily. But Blood Moon will give a growth stack, however it takes a few seconds to trigger. And there's another one, I think I forget what, I think this one does too, the Star Bless one, but that takes a little bit to trigger also. So I'd much rather have Divine Favor in the as the artifact to use. So yeah. 2 growth stacks for Lily. Shakir's going to be jumping over right away at the start because Theodore feeds him energy, getting a lot of damage, followed up by Siren's ultimate, and then the Spirit Marked Hero is actually going to be Shakir. So should work out pretty well. I like this team. The Theodore-Shakir combination is just always really strong, and I've found that Theodore-Shakir-Siren is also really strong. And then Team 3 is going to be a Pandora-Shamira team with Callan, Igor, and Brian on it. So if you don't... and I guess you could put Athalia in Brian's place. The reason I chose Brian is because if anyone was trying to use Lily May against us, they'd have to use the Lily May Pandora combination to actually stop the Shamira's ultimate. Because if they use Lily May by herself, the Lily's going to block the Brian, and then Shamira's going to come out of Pandora's box and get her ultimate out regardless. So yeah, it's either swap in Athalia for Brian, or just keep Brian in here so you can counter a Lily May. If you see people using Pandora Lily May combination against this, then maybe I just throw in Athalia. But yeah, that's going to be Team 3 for the last set of teams, and I think that's going to end it for today's video. This one kind of went a little bit long, but you know, it happens. I had a lot of team sets that I put together, so hopefully you guys can find some a set of teams or just a few teams here and there that you can, you know, put on the defense that you are currently using. So anyway, Discord link in the description below. If you can, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a lot, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I really like brownness, yeah. It's yummy. Games with y'all.